After 6 to 8 years of operation, the wires of the electrical connector of the driver's airbag break. Another weak point: over time, the headlight or windshield washer motors may fail. There have been cases of jamming of the rear wiper drive lever shaft. Although trouble can be prevented, if the wiper drive makes unusual sounds, its shaft must be lubricated. Fog diffusers fog up or crack due to temperature differences, and on post-styling versions, the electrical connectors of these headlights burn out. Salon: the main advantage of this car: it is quite spacious for 5 people. It has many pockets, niches, and glove compartments, and thanks to the wide possibilities of transformation, it can be adapted for various tasks. But the sound insulation is not very good. The engine is clearly audible inside. As in all other Megans, the compact van uses a central electronic unit that controls all the electronics of the car. All systems that were previously controlled by relays have been transferred to microchip control. Experts note that the unit works reliably, although it requires a qualified approach to maintenance. For example, it is unacceptable to install an alarm by ignorant electricians, since you need to clearly know where you can power the signal from. If you get used to the information wires, you can disable an expensive electronic control unit, ECU. In Ukraine, French with gasoline engines under the hood are more common, but diesel engines are hard to find. Most pre-styling versions are equipped with a 2.0-liter 8-valve unit. Its weak point is the idle valve, which is not particularly durable. The timing of all motors is driven by a belt, which must be changed along with the tension roller every 60,000 kilometers. In the cylinder head of all 16-valve engines, hydraulic compensators are installed, but the 8-valve engines need to adjust the thermal clearances of the valves. The most sensitive in this regard is the 1.6-liter engine. If the adjustment is violated, it works more noisily, consumes more fuel, and is less dynamic. But the 2.0-liter is not so whimsical. As a rule, menders carry out this procedure in it when repairing the cylinder head. Megane Scenic 16-valve engines are more demanding on fuel quality. The use of low-quality gasoline leads to the formation of soot on the valves, their loose closing, and burnout. A characteristic feature of the 2.0-liter 16-valve is uneven idling, which is due to the specific setting of the variable valve timing system. According to menders, this engine is less successful than its other 16-valve brothers. It is characterized by increased oil consumption. In addition, specimens produced in 1998 to 99 are distinguished by difficult startup at temperatures from 0 to +5 degrees Celsius. Later, the manufacturer finalized the control program for the 2.0-liter engine and eliminated this problem. All units of the Frenchman are very afraid of overheating, while, as a rule, rings sit down in them. Therefore, you need to carefully monitor the thermal regime of the engine and the tightness of the cooling system. In the 1.4-liter 16-valve, leaks of antifreeze from under the thermostat housing were noted. Traditionally, manual transmissions are more popular with our motorists, so Megane Scenic equipped with this particular transmission is more common in Ukraine. But 4-speed automatic transmissions are a rarity. As a rule, they come across on cars of the last years of production. The automatic is not very successful. It does not have a breather, and due to the lack of crankcase ventilation, there are problems with bypass valves. A malfunction is manifested by a violation of the gearshift algorithm. Subsequently, on the second-generation Scenic, the design of the machine was improved by installing a breather. Mechanics presents other surprises. Due to the low location of the gearbox control mechanism drive in winter, it often becomes icy, so gears cannot be engaged. Experts advise installing engine and gearbox protection, which will prevent these troubles. Another problem is that the gearshift seal often sweats with oil. It needs to be closely monitored, and as long as there are no serious leaks, you can ride. It is better to change the oil seal together with the clutch, since to replace this gum, you will have to remove the gearbox. Work, $50, spare part, $8. The braking system of Megane Scenic, equipped with rear drum mechanisms, does not cause any complaints, but in the rear disc mechanisms on pre-styling versions, accelerated wear of brake pads and discs is noted. The reason is the lack of protective shields and the active influence of dirt and moisture. During the modernization of 1999, the brakes began to be retrofitted with shields. In addition, the parking brake drive mechanism may jam in the rear discs. To avoid problems, you need to regularly use the handbrake. The ground clearance of the compact van is small, but the suspension on our roads keeps, well, ball bearings, silent blocks at the front levers, and the rear torsion beam are able to go out for about 80,000 kilometers. More often, after 20 to 30,000 kilometers, you will have to change the bushings of the anti-roll bar. Spare parts, $3, work, $8. Cars produced in 1999 were distinguished by a short resource of shock absorbers. The latter did not last long, but starting from the following year, reinforced parts began to be used, the service life of which is much longer. Renault Megane Scenic is one of the best representatives of the compact van class. Those criteria that guided the creators when designing the machine are quite relevant now. Buying a Frenchman can be recommended to motorists who are looking for a practical, multifunctional, and convenient vehicle for the family in frequent trips in the city. Although, when choosing Megane Scenic, it is advisable to take into account that there are unsuccessful modifications of it, from which it is advisable to refrain from acquiring. It is necessary to pay attention to the characteristic weaknesses and carry out their prevention in order to exclude the occurrence of malfunctions.